Hello everyone, welcome back to another session with me. This is a new series on bookmarks. Yes, as promised, I'm back with the bookmark special series and I have this thick paper with me. It's about 280 300 GSM and the size is 6 inches by 2 inches. Yes, and I will be using all my usual supplies except that we may use some color pencils. So whatever brand color pencils are you have readily available with you, please keep them handy. So you can use watercolors, you can use brush pens, whatever is easily available with you. We will probably try using some color pencils during this series. So let's get started with today's session. What is special about this series is we will practice fragments. Yes, Zentangle has a beautiful unique concept of reticula and fragments. Reticulum basically means a grid and a fragment is the tangle or pattern inserted inside the grid. Yes, so Zentangle headquarters has released so many fragments. Yes, most of them are an extension of the tangles that we already draw on a routine basis, but some are quite unique. During these upcoming 10 sessions we are going to be practicing different fragments. Yes, so bookmark and fragments make a good combination. So let's get started with today's session. So I'm going to start right away. I'm going to start with a square grid. I'm using my Micron PN, which is a slightly bolder nib compared to the Micron O1. And I'm starting to draw a square grid. Yes, you may, if you like, use your ruler to create equal sections, but that's not important. Zentangle, remember, no mistakes, so it's okay even if the sections are not equal. Now it's up to you. You can either draw two lines or probably we will go with just one line in between so that our fragments are sufficiently clear and visible. Yes, done with that. It is also a good idea. Probably you can use a bolder nib like an O8, or if you have an Identi pen. Yes, this has a bold nib. I'm going to add an outline to the bookmark like this. You can also use your O8. You can also use your PN, but you may have to redo the lines once or twice. That's the only difference. Yeah. So Identi pen is a marker pen. I always keep it handy because it has a thick, bold nib. Yeah. So adding a border to my bookmark. Done with that. Yes. Now let's get started. So what I'm going to do is first do a coffering. So coffering is a tangle enhancement technique. So I've added 4 dots on 4 corners of the square. Then I'm going to join these dots with each other and then to the corners like this. Yes, this exercise is called coffering, basically inspired from the coffered ceiling, coffered look. Yes, I'm adding one additional aura inside so that whatever fragment I add inside doesn't mingle quite much with my coffered look. Yes, so I will do this exercise for all these sections that I have. Start with the dots, join the dots together, join the dots to the corners facing them, and then add an additional aura inside. Yes, hope that's clear. So I'm going to repeat this same exercise for all these sections. Take your time, do it at your own pace, no hurry. Join the dots, join the corners, and add an additional aura inside. Yes, So I'll be back in a jiffy. You please continue at your own pace. I will do the same exercise for all these sections. So I'm still continuing with the same exercise. Last few sections left. 4 dots. Join the dots with each other and with the corner facing it. And then add an additional aura inside. Yes. And the last 2 sections I will do in exactly the same fashion. Adding the coffered look. Take your time, no hurry. Add an additional aura inside. And the last one here. Keep rotating. Bookmarks can be rotated, they are not big pieces, so unless you are working on a very big project, it's always a good idea to keep rotating your tile or your piece of paper on which you are working. Yes. So now I'm going to start with a very simple fragment. I'm going to probably use a blue pen. Yes. So one more thing that I forgot to mention, sorry for that. You can use your colored microns if you have handy, else you can just go with your black pen. That's not an issue at all. I will be using my blue micron. Yes. So I have blue micron here, 2 nib sizes, O1 or O5. Let's see which one do we want to use. I'll start with the O5, which is a bolder nib, a little bolder nib. Start with a bead line like this. So this is a little extension, a little enhancement of the fragment. And here comes the fragment, which is alternating thick and thin lines on both sides. Slight curve, alternating thick and thin lines, something like this. Yes, I'll show again. So start with the thick. So I'm coming back and adding that extra thickness, just like we do for diva dance, something like that. Again coming back, adding a hump, again a thinner line, a thicker line, like this. Yes, so this bead line can be replaced by a simple straight line or curvy line. That's your choice. I'm now again going to draw the next one. Start with some dots inside and then start adding auras, slightly curved lines. I added a hump there just like we do for diva dance. Again, the next one is simple curved line, again one with a hump, again simple curved line. So I'm alternating lines with varying thickness, thick and thin. The thicker ones are not like they are thick throughout. It's more like adding a hump in between, just like the way we do for diva dance. Like this. Yeah. So just for the sake of information, this is fragment S4. Yes, if you have the primer volume 1 issued by Zentangle headquarters, then this is fragment S4. Yes, so let's continue. Now there are different ways in which you can draw this fragment. These humps can be smaller, bigger, whichever way you like it. Basically it is an extension of the tangle diva dance. Yes, so I'm going to again alternate the direction. As you can see, I'm alternating the direction and start again with the same fragment, just that I've inserted a bead line in between. I'm adding a hump. This hump can be placed anywhere. Yes, again a simple curved line, again a hump, a simple curved line, again a bolder line. I'm just alternating them. Yes, again you can rotate if you're not comfortable drawing in both directions, keeping the paper as is, so you can rotate. Thin line, Again a thicker line, just like we do for diva dance. Thinner line, thicker line, thinner line. Yes, again I'm going to draw one more, add some bead lines in between. The original fragment doesn't have these beads. That's a little improvisation. So again I'm doing the same exercise of varying the thickness of the lines. Thick line, thin lines, humps here and there, like this. Yeah, again rotate. The lines are not straight, they are a little curvy. Even if you have two of them together, too thick or too thin together, that's fine. There are no rules here. All is good, all is well. No mistakes. Remember? Yeah. So I'm going to continue like this. Again, I'm going to show you one more. Yes. Start with a curved line. Add a hump. Thinner line. Again a thicker line. Add some extra weight. Again a thicker line. Yes. So you can also consider it to be a little extra weight there. Yes, if you don't want to call it a hump or a bump, basically you are adding a little weight, certain part of the curved line. Go slow. It may take a few sections to get a hang of it. Go slow. So what are exactly fragments? They are extensions of the tangles that we have already learned. At times they are pretty new to us, but they have a special quality of forming meta patterns when placed together in a grid. Yes. So these fragments have that capability of creating patterns within themselves when placed in different grids. Yes, that is what we call meta patterns. Something like a tangle paradox. Yes, you place it clockwise, anti-clockwise, you get different kind of patterns, which are basically meta patterns created by the pattern paradox. Yes, quite a tongue twister there, but yes, that's what it means. Creating patterns within patterns. Yes, so take your time. As I mentioned, even if it is two bold lines together, no worries. Just go with the flow. Once your hand is in that comfort position, don't move it much. Enjoy the strokes. That's what matters as far as Zentangle is concerned. If you don't have a blue pen handy, please, it's okay to draw with black. No issues at all. Once you are done with that, it's a good idea to add a border inside with your blue pen. It will add a little more depth to your fragment. So I have done it for a couple of them. Make sure you do it for all. You can also do this exercise with your black pen if you want. It will add a little more depth to your fragment and to the coffered look that we have created. Yes, so we are done with our tangling. Now let's shade. So what I'm going to do is use a light blue color pencil. Make sure your color pencil is sharp enough. So I'm going to sharpen it first. Yeah. Now with the color pencil, I'm basically going to add very light pressure and add color to all the four sides first. So light color basically throughout on all the white sections. Yes, and then a little extra color at these corners on both sides of the line, just as we do with our graphite pencil. I am doing the same exercise, just that I have given a light blue background color also, and now with a slightly more pressure I am adding a little extra pencil at the four corners on two sides of the line. Yes, now you can either leave it as such, or if you have a blender pencil to blend it smooth, you can use that also. So I have this colorless blender pencil and I'm going to use it to kind of soften the pencil. Yes, blend it. Because my paper has tooth, so I'm using the blender pencil to blend the color pencil a little better. But this step is optional. You may or may not do it. You may not require it if your paper does not have much of tooth. Yes, I'm using Prismacolor. You can use any other brand of color pencil that is readily available with you. Let's go ahead and do this exercise for all. So first, with a very light hand, very light pressure, adding a background blue color, very light pressure. Like this, and then going back at the corners, adding a little extra pressure. At the corners. Yes, what you can also do is add some blues here inside, like this, and then just use your blender pencil. If you don't have it, that's fine. You can create the same effect without blending also. You just have to be careful about what paper you are using. Yes, mine is a watercolor paper. It has a lot of tooth, so I'm using my blender pencil to kind of soften my color pencil. Make sure the center is lighter and the corners are darker. If they are not, you can always go back and add a little more. Yes. So that is what I'm going to do throughout. And we have this blue here at the corner. You can blend that also. Softly take it towards the center, but make sure you have the center white like a highlight. Yes, so let's do that for all. Again, very light pressure. Make sure this part remains white. It will highlight your covered look. Yes, that's why we added that extra aura. So first going ahead to all the sections and just adding a very light layer of my blue pencil. Take your time. Slowly go to each and add a light layer, very light pressure with your blue color pencil or any other color that you feel like. Yes. So once you have added that light layer, as I mentioned, now go back to the edges, the corners, and add some extra graphite there. Using circular strokes is always a better idea because it's easier to blend and it gets well into the tooth of the paper. Keep sharpening your pencil, it's important. Don't use a blunt pencil. So you don't want your pencil to get inside this white pipe. Yes. So let's do that for all and then we can blend it together. Choose your own colors. This is just a suggestion. As I always keep saying, use the fragment, create your own thing. But this series we'll be learning and practicing a lot of fragments. Somewhere they get lost. They are special because, as I mentioned, they have the capability to create patterns by themselves. So I've added that darkness at the corners. Now I'm going to blend. If you don't have a blender pencil, please use your white color pencil to blend. Even that works well. Just make sure the corners are darker and there is a little white, a little lighter color in the center. Yes, like a highlight. That's important as far as giving a covered look is concerned. It adds a lot to the look. Make sure you blend nicely. The blender pencil has no color. It just pushes your pigment into the paper, blends the pencil with the paper. Yes. You can use your white pencil also, just that you get a little white bloom, a wax bloom kind of a thing over your color, but that's fine. So I'll just finish it, get back to you, and then we'll add some shading inside. Yes, just the way we did in this one. So we are done with blending that part of the color pencil. Now, as I mentioned, I'm adding a little at the corners here. Not much. Just a bit because they are already dark, because the lines are blending there, merging there. So you don't have to add much. Just a little touch is sufficient. Slowly go to each. Add a little pencil at the corners. Two corners where the lines are blending. Yes, and then again use your pencil, the blender or the white pencil, to kind of soften. You can also try using your blending stub or tortillon to do this exercise. Depends on the nature of your color pencil. How easily does it blend? Yes, you can try using your blending stub also. So I need to sharpen it a little, so keep the sharpener handy when you're working with your color pencils. You may need to sharpen your pencil a couple of times. And that's it. We are done blending. Yes. Now last but not the least, it is optional though, but you can use your white chalk to highlight the center a little more. Yes. So what I'm saying is you can, if you want, run your white chalk here. Like this. It will highlight your center a little more, although it is already white. But if you wish, you may use your white chalk in the center. Like this. If you want it nice and bright, you can omit this step. Or if you want, you can use your chalk a little bit. Yes. Take your time. Go to each. And that's it. Now if you want, one last thing that you can do is revisit some of the lines which may have gone hazy because of your color pencil. So I'm not going to revisit all, but I'm going to redo the grid line that we started with. Yes, so the pen can act a little tricky here. So be patient. Slowly, since we have wax on the paper now, so just slowly revisiting the grid line which goes hazy after shading. Slowly take your time and do that exercise. Yeah, so that's a simple fragment, and that's today's bookmark. So we are going to be doing 9 more sessions like this. Try different fragments every day. Even try experiment with the grid. Yes, I shall see you again in the next session. Till then, have a good time. Bye bye.